Okay, and we are live. Thanks, guys, for joining the stream. This is Hell's Trading Floor Live. If you guys wouldn't mind on your way in, hit the like button. Give us a share on social media if you'd be so kind, just to get a few people coming in here. And we'll go ahead and get started. So at the moment, I'm currently watching the SPY just rip into the upper stratosphere for no explainable reason right now. I'm guessing that the FOMC minutes meeting was pretty good. Anybody have any news on what the meeting conclusions were, or have they got a link to the notes, perhaps? Okay, that's a solid no. See if we can pull up the minutes meeting.
At once. I'm pulling up the notes here.
Hey, Chandegger, I saw the short exempts on GOEV. That is pretty high. I've been noticing for a while that they've been kind of off the chain. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
There's a link to the notes there.
Thanks, JRF. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the short exempt ratio on the previous 8 days of trading, they have been ridiculously high. I suspect that this thing is going to keep getting driven down for a little while, but there will be a bottom here where when we see short exempts running extremely high, but the price is like break even every single day, that's what we want to watch for, especially if you see the short exempt ratio delta rate. That's the difference between the short exempts from one day to the next. That will tell us when there is heavy short exempts going on while the price is basically stagnating. So if it closes about the same level as where it opened on the day, but the short exempts get extremely high, short exempt ratio is kind of a big deal. But we want to see that the overall short exempt volume is extremely high. So if we get these types of prints, like 20,000 or more on a single day, and it closes like less than a cent difference from its open, that tends to be a signal that the reversal is coming, especially if the delta rate shows a huge spike, or what we call a mirror. If there's a large difference, like say you get like 1,000% increase here, and it's also 1,000% difference between the delta rate changes, you'll basically just see a side-by-side number here on the delta rates that looks basically identical and extremely high. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll also be watching for that also. All right, let's go check out TradingView and see where we're at. So the SPY is currently tapping on its previous resistance at 385. I have another area of resistance marked out at 388 and 390. I would be amazed to see the SPY attack those prices again, especially after that hard rejection and sell-off that we saw on the 28th. What I expected to happen was for SPY to consolidate in this area for a while. But make no mistake that overall, the entire market is below that panic line that I set for us quite a while back. I think I think I set that up when we were still trading around like 415 on the SPY. That would be $4,100 on SPX index. And right as we were breaking through that 415 level, I set up this. I had set up this chart map of the market, showing the institution bag unloading zone, basically, the fear zone and the panic zone. So we're touching the panic zone. Once we get rejected here, I expect free fall in the market. It may take some time. Free fall isn't like, oh, it's going to drop $100 in a day. Like it could, but that would be like expect there to be fire in the streets down on Wall Street if that were to happen. I do feel like it'll be like a slower bleed off and then like a 1 day capitulation where you see the SPY drop by 15% in a single day. Something similar to crashes that we've seen historically, such as September in 2008, or the or probably not like a 1987 style crash. Like a Black Monday crash would be a bit dramatic, especially with volatility halts. They'd be more likely to close the market. Um, but something similar to that, where we see the SPY like drifting downward and then just a 1 day rejection and capitulatory drop in the overall market. Probably see like a 15% drop in equity value on the broader market. And I'm expecting that at some point this year, likely in the fall, sometime September, October. So we're on track for it. We are definitely on track for it. It's actually happening a bit faster than I had even expected. I'm sure that a lot of the other analysts and mods in the Discord can say the same. Let's catch up with chat, see how everybody is doing. How y'all? Nice to see that everybody is in good spirits, despite all the red elsewhere. I guess if you went long on the market, at least for this brief rally, you should be doing pretty well. I was expecting it to drop, so I'm still holding on to some short positions against the market. FOMC was in line with expectations. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the update. It's nice to just have
Power
that.
Hour.
Ah, yes. Starting up on Power Hour. No use of the word recession. Of course, there wouldn't be. Jay
Don't say the R word.
Jay Powell does not want to say that ever. Just has been avoiding it as much as possible. Hey, Nickel. I appreciate it. Yeah, BBIG has been super suspicious. I will be covering that here in a little bit. There's a couple of requests from the Discord. I've got a request for the Rev update and also SOS since they split stock. So I'll go ahead and check those out really quickly. And then we'll go over BBIG. So Revlon, I have a paper position in Revlon, which is doing pretty well. I had entered a paper trading position at about $510 on the share price. It happened during this big spike down here. I saw this as a liquidity hunt when the price dipped this low, and I had a second level that I was prepared to add another position to. It hit in after hours, but it didn't hit during market hours, so my paper trade didn't execute. But overall, the trade is way, way up. Again, just playing with funny money. It's just to demonstrate trading strategies to everybody. But as you can see, overall, it's doing really well. So right now, the price of Revlon is at 644. Definitely showing some huge strength, which I really am loving. The bounce happened about midway off of this level of support where we actually hit just before Revlon announced their bankruptcy, and then we had this capitulation style drop in the stock all the way down to a buck. And since the buyout notice, as well as Revlon announcing that they had mistakenly marked a bunch of debt that they had actually paid off, which is hilarious. That's a pretty hilarious mistake. But in any case, Revlon's been performing really well. I have a paper trade set up to cash out at $9.99, which is right at a big liquidity pool area on the bull side. So if it hits this level, it will execute the sale of my paper trade. But I do see potential upside up to $14. So there, if you're in for a long hold, that is a possibility. The thing that I do want to caution people of is for another rug pull. It's likely to bounce around at that level of resistance. So if it's going to break, you'll have some time to think about it and consider what to do as Revlon makes its way up there, assuming it does. But at least for like a modest trading strategy, $10 is an excellent take profit for this. I mean, it's already a 9.2 risk reward ratio setup, so can't really complain in the slightest if you're a swing trader and just trying to take some tidy profit off of big swings like this. Revlon does have quite a lot of short interest in it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Ortex charts. We'll go ahead and take a look at that here in just a second. Let me go get logged into my Ortex. And then Savvy, I'll take a look at SOS for you here in a minute once I finish up with the Revlon short interest update. Okay, so Revlon still on the threshold list, which it has been since about, what was this? June 22nd. Oh, let me switch over to my Ortex charts. There we go. So June 22nd, we went on the threshold list when Revlon hit a peak of about $9.89. So very nice. Let me zoom in on this area. Short interest has been rising steadily as the price is leveled off to about $5.50. And utilization is still maxed out. So currently, no shares should be available to short. Of course, that's never stopped hedge funds before or the brokers from lending out shares, which apparently don't exist. The on loan has been dropping, though, which is interesting. And that tells me that market makers are slowly unwinding their positions, trying to get out. The short interest, however, is pretty much stable. So there's no short interest, or at least no shares on loan available. And as we can see over here, the cost to borrow is averaging at 881%. Keep in mind that this is an annualized figure, so this is what shorts would pay annually for their interest on their positions to maintain them for an entire 365 days. But that's still a ridiculously high price. So for every, if you just take the current notional value of their short position, multiply it by 8.8, and then divide by 365 days, then you'll get their daily rate of interest, roughly, on average. Currently, that's putting a lot of that's going to put a lot of pressure on shorts to cover sooner rather than later, especially if Revlon keeps going up in price. It's moving so strongly. I have I have some strong feelings that it's likely to keep going from here. I'd also like to highlight a new feature that we've implemented in ScourgeBot. I'll just take the opportunity to look at this. Where is my ScourgeBot? Oh, ScourgeBot is down for an update, so that's why I can't hit it. But that's no big deal. I'll do it on our test server and we'll see if we can get that. Oh, nope, it's down. Okay, well, I guess Scourge is down for the count for right now. If somebody wouldn't mind pinging Flabbergank and see if he can figure out what's going on. If it's just regular updates, then no big deal. I'll wait for it to be finished. But in the meanwhile, I'll get back to it in a little while. But the feature that I was going to showcase is that we now have a way of tracking the designated primary market makers and also figuring out with a single command, we can track the amount of off exchange and ATS trading volume. So that is basically going to allow us members of Hell's Trading Floor to quickly get the number of shares and trades that are occurring off exchange versus what's going to the lit markets. That way, we can very quickly identify whenever there is a bunch of hedge fund and market maker fuckery going on, and pick off the stocks that are currently trading on the lit exchanges primarily. And then when market makers suddenly shift over to attacking a particular stock, we can quickly identify that. We can shift our strategy accordingly and try to profit on stocks moving in both directions. I mean, at this point, when market makers are screwing with these companies and messing with the stock price this much, I feel like it's in our favor to move with them. And then once they have hit their price target, quickly snatch up the shares of stock as well as call options once it's hit a perceivable bottom, and then target the stock to go long before the market maker is able to switch long on their positions. And that's how retail can, at least to some degree, punish market makers for all of their bullshit. So that's going to be one of our focuses, is identifying and automating the identification of when market makers shift all of their buying and selling of stock to go off exchange, and then Hell's trading floor can react accordingly, go short on stocks temporarily, or at least hedge with put positions, things like that. And then once we've hit the bottom, cash those out, switch long, take all the equity off of the table that the market maker was trying to get for cheaper prices, and hopefully put a little bit of pain on them. Because as far as I'm concerned, companies like Citadel, Virtu, Susquehanna are all predatory bastards that I would like to see squeezed for every dime they make. So in any case, back to what I was saying about Revlon, security volume is still peaking, but it's in the last couple of days, it's dropped off the face of the earth. So I have a feeling that we might be in for some volatility coming up here, because I've noticed that every single time a stock is about to squeeze, it levels off in its price. The security lending volume basically drops off significantly from what it was trading on its average. And then once the on loan shares starts to drop, that is a signal that the market maker is trying to get out of their short position and switch long, and then they'll take the stock for a ride to the upside. So we're in the right spot right now. Don't need to go anywhere. I'm looking forward to seeing where this thing heads in the next couple of weeks. Next one that we'll look at is SOS. I'll just go ahead and prep up Ortex to show us what's going on there. And in the meanwhile, let's get TradingView focused on SOS. They recently did a reverse split, or they are planning a reverse split. Oh, yep, it's already been done. So SOS is currently trading well above $1. So I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if any amount of manipulation could drag this price back below $1. So after about 10 days of trading, I would, hold off for the time being, because I still suspect that companies that are preying upon SOS Limited are likely to try to short it while it's at this high price level. Typically, doing a reverse split, although it takes the company out of Nasdaq's crosshairs, or the NYSE in this case, in order to protect themselves from a delisting, which would be absolutely devastating and basically just destroy the equity of all their shareholders. Since SOS is already trading pretty low, if it goes a little bit lower, it won't matter so much. So if you're bullish on this company, you can wait a little bit of time before right before the Nasdaq delisting is revoked, and they are basically free and clear to continue trading without any warning hanging over their head. Then it's that will probably be the time to buy into this company, if you're going to buy in at all. I'm not long on SOS anymore. I'm just kind of sitting off on the sidelines, letting it do its thing. Overall, I still like crypto mining companies, but I suspect that now with Bitcoin and crypto getting, smashed so badly, there's still some downside ahead for the crypto market overall. So I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to rush back into any crypto positions for the time being. One thing that I will point out, however, is that the channel that this has been trading in is clearly starting to come to its end. If we could get this to close on a descending wedge, and if SOS can break this wedge to the upside, then that would probably be my technical sign for a buy. For the time being, though, SOS has been, just trading a little bit further down, and since they did a reverse split, I would kind of expect that trend to continue for at least a little while. It's very nice to at least see that they are going to get back into compliance with the exchange. That'll be very good. All right, so now that we've covered those, let's go ahead and take a look at BBIG and let's see what's going on. So BBIG, this is a tough stock to analyze, because at the moment BBIG has been they finally had their big news, the spin-off dividend for Tide, and there's just been mass confusion all over the place ever since it happened. And worse yet, BBIG has had this weird barcoding going on. If you've been watching the stock, and I'm sure you have if you're here on this video, just the last several trading days, like ever since it dropped below $2, nothing but barcoding. Nothing but barcoding. This has not happened with BBIG ever. I've never seen it trading this way. It's been barcoding downward for the last several weeks in a row. It's never done this. Not for this long, at the very least. So this is the same thing that other stocks like Mullen and Redbox and there's a few others. Um, AMC was actually barcoding for a brief time, like when it broke down below $10. Just the amount of barcoding in the stock is a huge sign of algorithmic trading going on. But since it's been trading lower and lower and lower, despite massive volume, is so it's such a red flag. What's been upsetting to me is that looking at the exchange volume, you can see that more than 70% of the stock traded is being traded off exchange. It's all going to the non-lit exchanges right now and passing off to dark pools or alternative trading systems. Think internalizers or Citadel Connect. One of the other things that was recently uncovered with BBIG was that their designated primary market maker is Susquehanna, which, if you're here, you probably already heard this, but if you're just coming here for the first time and you haven't been tracking this stock, Susquehanna is a hedge fund that has recently, I think about 2 years ago, purchased a market making company and absorbed them into their business. So Susquehanna is now both a hedge fund and a market maker, which is a massive conflict of interest, by the way. But if that weren't enough for you to like scream conflict of interest, BBIG, which owns the rights to Lomotif, which is it's a social media company that is it its platform focuses on short video clips, and they're a clear competitor with TikTok. Well, guess who owns a major stake in TikTok, or ByteDance, which is the parent company that owns TikTok? Yeah, Susquehanna. So Susquehanna has a major stake, over $60 billion in equity in TikTok and ByteDance, and they're also the primary market maker for Vinco Ventures, which is their competitor. They also recently, just in the last 3 months, purchased a stake in BBIG. And ever since they had a marked position in BBIG, the stock has never been the same. So the purchase happened sometime here in this at this point. And I have to wonder if at some point between January and February when this purchase was made, I actually do wonder if this right here was Susquehanna's purchase. But the entire month that this was going on ever since, the stock has never been the same. It didn't have the same amount of volatility. It's been trending downward continuously. But the thing is that Susquehanna has been the designated primary market maker in BBIG for much longer than that. So there's an obvious conflict of interest here. It's marked on SIBO's website, which you can get. You can get directly off of SIBO's designated primary market maker listings. But we also have our Scourge bot, which will just simply go out and look for you. You can type in you can, if you're a professional member of the Discord, you can just type in the market maker lookup command, give it the ticker symbol BBIG, and you can pull it up right away. Let me go see if I can actually pull it up now. I think ScourgeBot is working again. Yeah, here we go. So if you do inspect ticker market making and type in BBIG, ScourgeBot will go out and it will get you the information. If you're watching in the Discord, you can check this out in the live stream questions chat. I'll go ahead and pull this up for you. But it will also show you the breakdown of volume that is going to the lit exchanges. Currently, BBIG volume is actually starting to grow on the lit side. The lit market is beginning to increase, but for the most part, more than 50% of all of the trading that's been going on has been going to non-ATS, which is a dark pool exchange, and then ATS, which is the alternative trading systems for non-exchange entities. or at least not the primary exchanges. So you could think of like MEMX exchange, that would be an ATS. Non-ATS, you think dark pools, internalizers, and private trading platforms. So if you're interested in that, that is all available on our Scourge bot now. If you are interested in getting access to that, that is able to be looked up on any ticker, and you can just pull that up at will. So special thanks to Flower Gang for adding that feature in. 3 cheers for the best code wizard I could ever ask for. I'll go ahead and pull up a couple more of these that has a just a table of the trading volume on a weekly basis. This is some more of the data pulled up by ScourgeBot. If you look at the amount of non-ATS weekly shares that have been traded, the week of starting in May, second week of May, the non-ATS weekly shares traded was over 81 million shares traded. Less than well, only 107,000 were actually traded on non-ATS exchanges. The lit market was maybe 20% of the trading at that time. So, with all of that in front of us, what the hell do we do here? Because right now, BBIG is just barcoding like crazy. Well, to be honest with you, the thing that I would be doing if I were in a position to would be to buy shares right now. Whatever is currently going on with BBIG is far from legitimate. I am going to be working with a group of researchers to pull up everything that we possibly can on Susquehanna and their conflict of interest in being the designated primary market maker for BBIG. And we will be submitting our findings to basically anybody who will listen. Of course, we're going to blow the whistle to the SEC as we've done countless times and been promptly ignored. But nevertheless, we have to try. As far as BBIG's share price, it's never been lower or at a more preferred price. This is the lowest that BBIG stock has ever gotten. And if you recall from countless examples in squeezes, the lowest price is often reached just mere days before the ultimate highs. Squeeze plays like this, especially the ones which are the subject of major manipulation, have always come after massive dips in the price, almost inexplicably so. And given that Susquehanna is both the primary designated market maker, has a $60 billion stake in just one stock that is TikTok, the competitor of BBIG alone, the stock has been trending down to this all-time low price that it hasn't reached in, God, how long has this thing been trading since it touched this price? The last time that BBIG saw this price was in January of 2021. So literally the day, just days before the GameStop squeeze, which we know that BBIG was one of those meme stocks that got swept up in that whole event as well. Yeah, whatever's going on with BBIG, I have not seen this before. This demonstrates a remarkable amount of control by an extremely powerful institution. I can't think of a better candidate for having caused this than Susquehanna, because they have opportunity, they have motive, they have the money. There's no other reasons for this stock to drop this much, especially with this much retail interest. There isn't even enough shares available to short that would be able to drag the price down this far. And you can check on other sites such as you could check through StockTwits and Webull. Their sentiment algorithms show that overall sentiment in the stock is at all-time highs. So for it to be trading down this far makes absolutely zero sense. And the market makers don't have the ability to just hold it down here forever. I don't expect it to stay here, but I I do expect this bullshit to continue for at least a little while. Um, it's up to everybody how they want to play this. It's obviously a manipulated stock. I don't say that lightly, um, but this is a clear sign of retail being targeted. And one thing that I will actually say is Susquehanna's the head of Susquehanna, one of the leading founders, Jeff Yass, the son of a bitch that he is. God, the guy has been quoted at least on one occasion saying that he basically compared the stock market to a poker game, saying that if you play poker against players that are better than you, you're going to lose. So I'm always going to play against players that are stupider than I am. And he speaks of retail this way. So he basically targets stocks that are that have a heavy interest from retail participants, and those are the ones that he targets to go short on. And he's said this out loud to during interviews. The guy the guy is actually a pattern gambler as well. He actually made his fortune by doing statistical analysis on horse betting races and somehow was right all the time. I somehow really doubt that just with statistical analysis, you can bet the exact order in which a league of horses are going to come in. That was how good his quote statistical analysis was, that he was able to place a bet on the order in which all the horses were going to come in finishing place, and he did it multiple times in a row. That's not that's not an anomaly. That's not statistical analysis. That's fucking suspicious. And the fact that this guy made his fortune doing that to start with is extremely suspicious to me. This guy he just didn't come up with some magical algorithm that will tell him just the future of, oh, these are the horses that are going to win and this is the one that's going to come in second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Like, no, I don't buy that for a second. But in any case, his attitude towards retail participants or just generally people that he sees as beneath him is exactly the type of person that I dislike the most. Like, you all remember my rant about Peter Schiff, and his attitude about make the middle class pay for inflation and that stupid outlook on the economy. I feel more so uh, antagonistic towards Jeffrey Yass for his opinion on how retail is just a bunch of stupid dumb apes. He's one of the classic examples of a very wealthy, um, very arrogant member of Wall Street that looks down on retail participants for their skill, I guess you would say. Because this is a skill. This takes intelligence. You have to really research this to be good at it. Day trading isn't a game that somebody jumps into lightly, and people that make a living doing it are some of the smartest people that I have ever met. So I don't buy for a second that retail are a bunch of dumb apes, biased as I am. But in any case, those are the kinds of people that we are up against. That is what we are facing right now. So we should have we should at least be very clear on who our enemy is and what motivates them. Let me go ahead and catch up with chat. I apologize, guys, if I've missed some messages and some stock tickers. I'm trying to keep up. Also, let me double check in with work, make sure that I'm not. I might have to check in on some
EMJY is
stuff.
looking a little spicy.
ENJY, yes, that's actually another one that I wanted to look at. So ENJY was one that we called out. ScourgeBot called this one out as it went up on our bankruptcy alerts. ScourgeBot will notify us on any companies that file bankruptcy. It notifies us of several things, including FDA approvals or denials, Consumer Protection Agency actions such as recalls on products, stuff like that. And it called it out to us on the 30th of June, and a lot of us took a position at like 20 cents or lower. And as you can see, Enjoy is now up to 41 cents. I know a bunch of people took profit, some like above 50 cents, which is absolutely fantastic. Big congratulations to everybody who made money on this play. It's still looking pretty bullish. If you took profit up here, it seems like it is finding support here. I have a feeling that this move is the result of an institution that is buying up the debt of ENJY. So far, I haven't seen any newsprints. It's just talking about pre-market gainers. So this might actually be a good area to average down. You might want to just check your indicators and be careful. But some bullish indicators that I'm seeing, we've got some hidden bear patterns, which is just a sign of continuation. But it looks like we might end up getting some RSI divergence here in a little while. We have tapped a previous liquidity pool here at 38 cents. This was an area that the price broke through in after hours. And since we've touched this, I'm expecting this to be a major area of support. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this out on our chart. The other thing that I would be watching is if you're using the STC, which is essentially it's a MACD indicator that focuses on volume as well as momentum. This is built into TradingView if you want to go ahead and pull that up. The MACD by itself is actually doing a crossover right now with the histogram up slightly. So this is actually a good sign. We've got some bounces off of the $38 level, and I noticed this big engulfing candle here on the 10-minute. And as a matter of fact, if I were to pull up a 5-minute chart, yeah, so we actually have a 3-line strike candle here with this green engulfing candle taking up both of these red candles. So we've got some bullish signals that we're bouncing off of support here, and ENJY might be going on for another run. If it does bounce here, I would actually expect it to surpass its previous resistance that it got knocked off at 60 cents. So if you are trying to catch another scalp, this one might be a good spot. I'd be setting my stop loss down at 35 cents as your risk level, and then going for a risk to reward of about 3-1 on this trade. This is not one that I'd be saying to Diamond Hand. This is probably one you just want to take for a day trade.
Notable areas too where they might try to play around with us a bit is there is a gap fill from 52 to 74 and a half cents.
Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and mark a day trade here. I'm going to go see if I can pull this on my paper trading account. I'll go ahead and do a 3% risk on the account. We'll do a take profit and stop loss. And let's see, how many pips is this? There we go. 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and hit the buy. So let's see if I get my fill. If not, I might chase it just a little bit. But I like where the price is at, so I'm expecting this red candle to carry it down to my price, and we'll see if we get a fill here. We'll come back to that one a little bit later. Let's see, what's going on with chat? What are you guys up to? If you guys have any questions in the Discord, please drop them in live stream questions. Happy to take any questions you guys have, any ticker requests. What are our thoughts on highs if BBIG squeezes? I don't feel comfortable making any price targets since that's dangerously close to financial advice. What I can do is talk about resistance levels and let you know where those resistances are. The big resistance now, currently, that BBIG needs to break through in order to reach new highs is to break above the $2 level currently. That's definitely the big one. I would be setting alerts at $2. The next one would be 350, 450, and $5. Above that, BBIG doesn't have a whole lot of resistance. The main price levels that it's been rejected at is at around $6 and $8, and before that, that's pretty much it. So BBIG could break out to those ridiculous levels, like it is possible. If you're tracking the charts highs, just like peak just by looking at a sloping line on the top wicks of its squeezes, you could theorize that BBIG might try to retest those levels again, in which case, if it did so within, the next 2 to 3 months, would probably be stopped at around, 12 or $13. But that's not a price target for me. That's speculation. That doesn't that's by no means a concrete level. Um, if BBIG did squeeze at all, there's no telling what highs it could go to. It could be above that, or it might get stopped before it. There's no way to know. Hey, Mike W., thank you for the $10. Much appreciated. Have a beer on me this weekend. Been busy regulatory audits at work. Love what you do for Hell's trading floor and the community. So glad folks listen to me about DRV and profited. Soldier of Fortune. Thank you, dude. Much appreciated. I'm glad that you and others were profiting off of DRV. If you're listening for the first time and don't know about ticker symbol DRV, that's a leveraged bearish ETF that shorts the housing market. So going long on DRV is betting against the real estate market, both real estate for residential and commercial. There is a video on the channel that focuses on shorting real estate, especially since we've seen record equity growth in the market, and we're basically just bearish overall on equity of real estate. Let me go see where Enjoy is. It looks like it is going to stay over this level, so I am going to chase this. We're going to do a market order. Oh, I can't do a market order. I'll just move it. Fuck it. There we go. All right. Execution on these paper trades is pretty stupid, but what are you going to do? All right, and I'll move my take profit to $6 and, or I'm sorry, 60 cents, 60.09 cents. We'll just make it a round number. Okay, cool. So if you're doing any kind of day trading, normally I don't chase, but I see this big red wick, and that tells me that it's rejecting this level, so it's going to pop pretty soon. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a long in Enjoy on my paper trading account. We'll see what happens. Okay. All right. I see people are shouting about tide moving. The question is, what is BBIG doing? I'll be perfectly honest with you. I could not care less about Tide. I'm more concerned with what BBIG does, since that is the parent company. What I will say, though, is that BBIG is not behaving normally. I am super curious. With what BBIG is about to do. To me, it doesn't make sense that BBIG is trading this low. It really doesn't make any sense. They've just been printing bullish news over and over and over again.
It
I'm
doesn't make sense for multiple reasons too, because look at the industry and what is happening currently with crypto. You know, Tide is essentially a cryptocurrency spinoff, and BBIG, being the parent company, has a fairly robust platform and a lot of vertical integration. I mean, I'm seriously, I've done enough research into the darn ticker to get kind of excited about what the potential they have is, but I just don't see it in Cryptide. I see Cryptide as being a part of the overall big picture, but Tide and Low Motif and that whole platform, I mean, Tide would just be a portion of it. That's where I see the real value case for this one.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at Tide. There's enough people that are screaming about it that it's got my attention now. It's up. Oh my god. Okay, 30%. All right, it just looks weird because of the daily. Okay, yeah, it does seem to be moving. I see your point. Big boom boom candles. I know a lot of people are holding on to Tide because they exercise calls and we're holding on to shares from the IPO. They really overvaluated Tide on the IPO, though. I do have to say, I don't think that $15 was an appropriate price, honestly. Well, if Tide runs, then I hope it carries BBIG with it. What's good for Tide is good for BBIG is good for Tide. You know, they serve each other. So other ones that I'm still gonna have to check in on occasionally. Revlon, see it just retraced a little bit. Looks like it's about to do a bounce off of its 50 period moving average on the 5-minute chart. SPY is beginning to curl over. It's looking like it's getting ready to give up on that 385 price level. I still think that the SPY moving up today is such a lie. It feels like a lie. Yeah, 30% jump in Tide is that's actually really nice. I stopped looking at IMPP Petroleum, but it's hit a bottom now. So if people were waiting for a load up at 40 cents, it is there now. There's big bullish divergence on the RSI as well. Redbox is beginning to curl as well. Is Redbox still off the exchange right now? No options available? If nobody knows, no big deal. Um, but if you do, I'd appreciate it if you dropped it in live stream questions. Hey, Clint Beastwood, I see your question. What is the difference between BBIG options on Webull? Same dates, different names. So there's a couple of different tickers for BBIG right now. BBIG one contracts are, and also two BBIG one contracts. That's numerical two, BBIG numerical one. Those contracts are entitled to a tied dividend because those contracts were created before the dividend was put in place. If you exercise those contracts, then you are entitled to receive tied shares as a part of the dividend. So that is the reason why they are different. They cannot be written. There's no way to write those new contracts. So the only way to get those is to purchase them at their prevailing market price. The thing to take note of, though, is that I noticed that the BBIG1 contracts, which entitle you to 10 tied per contract, because it's a 10-to-1 dividend, the prices of those are actually trading significantly lower by about like 40 to 60% on average from the standard BBIG options. So if you have the ability through your broker to purchase the BBIG one options and you wanted tied anyway, like they're cheaper and you get a tied share for every 10 shares of the contract. So that's actually a pretty good incentive, in my opinion. The only problem is that most of those contracts were traded above $1 strike. So the only ones that are currently in the money are $1.05, or sorry, 50 cents. So in order to cash in on that, you would have to exercise those almost immediately. So if you really want those, what you would need to do is purchase the 50 cent or the $1 strike contracts for BBIG 1 and then exercise right away in order to get those shares. You may want to contact your broker in order to get clarification on that and make sure that that is something that you can do and ensure that you will be entitled to those dividend shares. If not, I don't know if there's like some weird language written into it where, like, if you purchase it after the X dividend date, then you're not entitled to the shares. I don't know. But if you're interested in that, call your broker, check with them, and make sure that you get a clear, definitive answer and make sure you get it in writing as well, because the broker should be held to the statements that you act on whenever they tell you that information. You should make sure that, they're telling you the truth. And if they don't, then they need to be held responsible.
I think
Will
AERC is about to move too.
AERC. I know you were looking at that one rough for a while. AERC. What's it currently moving at?
Right now, it's up 10.5% on the day. It's in a bull flag. It's currently at 1386.
That's pretty good. I see that it bounced off of its 20 period moving average on the 1 hour chart about, what was it? That was on Friday.
Yeah, and this one tends to run inverse with the SPY on occasion too. So when the SPY's looking weak, it tends to pop.
That's interesting. I guess that would make sense since a lot of the meme stocks are negative beta. They're inverse to the SPY. Anytime the SPY is running, it seems like meme stocks just don't really follow it. But AERC, I'm not sure I would really qualify as a meme stock. It's just negative beta. So still no news on Revlon. Imperial is still not doing anything. They've still had their notice of delisting for non-compliance. They're not currently at risk right now. They have several months before that would ever happen. Fed minutes suggest more aggressive interest rate hikes ahead, according to Benzinga. which I already knew that, but what I find so interesting is that the SPY decided to make a run for $385 before it was going to come down. So I'm actually considering increasing short positions against the SPY right now, or the SPX. Just the broad market in general feels, well, like a lie. What else do we got here, Chad? You guys got any interesting tickers you want to look at? Zeus, I see you're asking for Beyond Meat. BYND. Whoa, that's an interesting change of trajectory. Beyond Meat's been ripping. Where's Mr. Boule? I know he's in on this stock. It's up 30% in just 4 trading days. What happened with this one, Boule? What's going on? Oh, it's up on an inverse head and shoulders pattern that already played out. How about that? It broke the neckline yesterday, and now it's moving up. It almost touched $30. That's very bullish. It bounced off of this bottom 3 times. That's a really nice setup.
If you
Wow, if you
zoom
got
out a
in
little
on
bit
that one,
too, it's
congratulations.
at the neckline of an even bigger reverse head and shoulders.
Is that true? Well, I see this one. Oh, I see. You're looking at this as the neckline. Or, oh, I see it. Okay. Well, I've been bullish on Beyond Meat just because I feel like their uh, meat's been getting so expensive. People have been profiting at Beyond Meat for the alternative. That is interesting. Yeah, it already broke the neckline here, and it looks like there's another Head and Shoulders set up here. Interesting, very interesting. I'm not gonna chase it, but if you are in it, congratulations. I would ride this one out. Um, it looks like there's some upside up to $31 at the very least. You could probably cash out there, but I see this big gap down that occurred as a result of anticipation of a bad earnings. So I might anticipate this thing could recapture $40 by earnings date. Good play, well played. Here's the shoulder of a much larger Head and Shoulders. So if it did break this level and then retraced to 35 and then retested that $40 level, you might actually see some upside here. So maybe if Beyond Meat keeps running like this, if I see it gathering strength in this range between $35 and $40, then I might be interested in a long position. Keep an
Wow,
eye on this
SPY's
one.
giving it up. SPY, Qs, and IWM are all taking a last minute dump.
Oh wow, yeah, no
I
kidding.
was going to say, hey, ERC, why are you going up? Jeez. And with 7 minutes to spare. 7 minutes till the closing bell, folks.
Yep. If you guys are interested in negotiating some additional positions, now is the time. Current outlook is quite bearish for the SPY as well as the SPX. The broader market looking to take a downturn here going into next week. I'm also expecting a huge drop after the CPI print. I am actually expecting that the CPI print will once again not be within expectations, and if that is the case, then I would anticipate some pretty severe pain from from the broader market. Let's actually go ahead and check the flow and see if the SPY. Oh yeah, yes it is. Yes it is. Big flow on the SPY is showing some serious downside right now. Let me pull up my charts here. This is from our options fanbot, which is free to use for all members of the trading floor. So even if you're a trader level, you can use options fanbot. Documentation for options fanbot is available at optionsfanbot.com. But there is a huge amount of trading going on in puts for both the 460 level. I'm noticing that most of the 400 and above are lean bids. So that means that there are people that are taking profits currently on the July 15th strikes. Or I'm sorry, the July 15th expiring contracts, and they are rolling out to August and September as well. There's a lot of in between level purchases. There's quite a few sales of calls as well. So 360 and 260 for June of 2023. That's interesting. So somebody is selling 260 strike calls for $7.2 million expiring June 2023. That's a ballsy bet. That is a very ballsy bet. I see lots of prints for the 400 and 300 strike puts going out to August, December, and September. I've been seeing these prints happening every single day, and I gotta say that overall, the options prints on SPY have been so negative on the big flow. For the last 3 days, puts have just completely swallowed all the options interest for the SPY. I'm actually going to check and see what is the PCR. Let me check live options data for the SPY. Let's go see where sentiment is in the market currently. We'll go take a look at that. Got to wait a little while for the bot to generate those figures for us. But in the meanwhile, if you guys have some other questions that you'd like to ask, can we check? Okay, let's see. I'll go ahead and take a look at some other tickers after the closing bell. Just want to track what the SPY is doing for the last 3 minutes of the day. Hey, Captain Insano, I saw the tweet from Jim Cramer that says "time for crypto." It was pretty hilarious, actually. But yeah, I remember seeing that and just like, oh, let's play a sad violin tune for crypto everywhere. Chris, I will check out ENDP, although I've been looking at it for a little while. I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Captain Insano, why am I hurting your feelings? I'm catching up with the whole chat right now. Okay. Defiant Hulk, thank you for reaching out to BBIG's investor relations desk with that. I'll be interested to see what comes of that. Man, ScourgeBot is not cooperating with me right now. I'm assuming that it's probably because it's trying to pull up options for the entire S&P.
Hello.
Hey, Flab, what's up?
Did you just pull a bunch of options, perchance?
I did. I tried to pull options for S&P.
Oh, that explains it. Okay. I'll go back to the basement.
It's funny. All I had to do was break ScourgeBot, and Flab came running. Mr. Burgunk is upset that his bot is broken.
It's not broken, it's we used up all our tokens.
Oh, are you serious? That used all the tokens?
Yeah, it's a big fucking chain. Oh, crap. Are you streaming?
I am streaming, yes.
I'm sorry, I dropped an F-bomb.
It's okay. I will forgive you just this once.
Okay. We still got those credits.
Yes, I think that it'll be okay.
Man, that's a big chain. Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, I am so sorry. Does that like break the bot at all for the next
No,
couple of
it's just waiting. It can't do anything at this time.
Oh, okay. How long before it'll refresh tokens just so that I know?
Every minute or so, but
Okay.
damn, 8,986 tokens
Oh
overall.
my god. I'm sorry. Oh wow. Okay, so I broke our bot for the next like 10 minutes, but we'll get there
Oh,
eventually. That was funny.
jeez.
All right. So let's go ahead and check out SPY for the last minute. Ding 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 ding. That's the bell. All right, SPY closed at $383.28, currently up on the day by just 0.35%. So not a huge gain for the SPY today. It actually gave up most of it in the last 15 minutes of the day.
Wow.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and catch up with Tide. Oh, God. Big red engulfing candle on Tide. Okay, I guess Susquehanna decided that Tide needed to die. Can't have that. Can't have retail making money. My next priority video is going to be a long drawn out history of all the times that the SEC and FINRA were found in conflict of interest and violating their duties. Because you know what? This has been going on for entirely too long. The last several years that I've been in the market have been some of the most frustrating that I have spent doing anything in life. And I've been a consultant for over 6 years. I have had to deal with the biggest pain in the ass clients you wouldn't even imagine. And this shit raises my blood pressure like nothing else. So, between BBIG being found that their designated primary market maker also has a massive position for their competitor, their only competitor, as well as having having a massive amount of pull in the market and a position in BBIG itself, I'm frustrated to find that the SEC and the regulators at FINRA are basically impotent in their duties. Now that BBIG is down to $1.06, I expect to see it below $1 within just a matter of days. But you know what? I am not giving up on it.
Wow.
And the WoW makes an appearance.
Mr. Burgunk, are you wowing at just BBIG or are you just upset that the bot's still broken?
He's been
Wow.
wowing all day.
No, it's trying to fit the picture through Discord, and it's just really funny to look at.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, there we go. We got slapped. There we go.
That's just incredible. So Tide, which was ripping in the end of the day, suddenly closed negative at the very last minute.
Wow.
I'm not going to say I didn't see it coming.
I'm not surprised actually. So it was up 39%, and then just as retail felt that they were having a good day, dropped back all the way back down, gave up all of its gains, closed negative on the day. You want to talk about a rug pull? I want to find out whose trade that was. Hey, call out to the SEC, Mr. Gary Gensler, honorable chairman of the SEC. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is your entire chair doing? What is your desk doing? What is your commission doing about this? This is fucking predatory. This is predatory. Look at the barcoding. Look at the barcoding. You want to tell me that this is natural movement? There's more than 80,000 individual investors just on StockTwits alone. Multiple of them have hundreds of thousands of shares in this. How many of them are getting fucked over? What are y'all doing to protect the investor? What is the SEC doing to protect investors? Seriously. God, I'm just...
I dropped you a ping to the sentiment.
Ping to the sentiment.
Yeah, and schedule DD.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Web.
Also 2 F-bombs.
Always appreciated. All right, so schedule DD. I'll go ahead and see. I cannot share this with the stream. Well, actually, I can. It's just annoying to do it.
I'll take a screenshot and then you can open that.
There we go. So I've got the sentiment report here in our
Okay.
on Discord here. Yeah, no big deal. I have my ways, but so far, this is the sentiment. This is one of the feeds that ScourgeBot prints for us. What does this do? Every hour? It's like every 2 or 3 hours.
It's every 15 minutes.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any case, the feed for the SPY is currently showing that there's pretty heavy put call volume on all tickers. The big ones, let's see. Looks like call volume is pretty heavy in Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft. That's interesting. They all went bullish for the day, except NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the only one that went bearish. 0.56 is a bearish put call ratio.
Whoa, we got some after hours movement on GameStop and AMC as well.
All right, let's go check it out. So this will be a good time to go and check out AMC and GameStop as well. Anyhow, we all know that BBIG is being targeted. If I see any changes in that, I'll be sure to let everybody know. But for right now, the strategy remains buy and hold. Let's go check out GameStop. Holy cow! What is going on here? Hello. Well, that's pretty magical. Nice to see GameStop is starting to recover a little bit, but it is after hours, so I'm not sure I trust it. Let's check out AMC as well. AMC 1265, big spike up in after hours. We see this a lot. We've seen this several times in the last couple of months. We just get these random spikes for AMC, and then it just sells off the next day. What I've seen with AMC though is that it is setting up some higher lows, and this is the biggest change that it's made so far. Normally I'd follow the wicks, but I'm going to follow the bodies of these candles actually.
It looks like chat saying something about a stock split with GameStop. Hold on.
If GameStop split its stock, that would be fantastic. It would make every share more affordable for retail investors. You'd probably find investors that are unable to trade fractional shares would probably have a bit more interest then. If we
And
could, let's just try to
hold
keep
up,
the.
GME.
Hey, do we got some hot micers in here?
GME announces 4-for-1 stock split.
4-for-1 split. Nice. All right. So if GameStop does a 4-for-1 split, that would bring its share price down from its close. I'll go based off of the closing price at $117. Closing price 117 divided by 4, we would get a price of $30, or to be exact, $29.25. That's very approachable. That's very approachable. And that would also reduce the prices of all options going forward as well. I think you'd find the options interest would increase pretty significantly in GameStop to match that. That's excellent news. It's nice to see they're going forward with it. I was hoping for a stock split on GameStop. That makes it a lot more approachable, and it makes it easier for retail to get a stake in it.
Wind Moon.
The only thing to keep in mind is that does also increase the float. So it doesn't change the notional or the equity value of GameStop as a company. It doesn't change their market cap in any way. It basically stays the same. But it does increase the float. So for every share, it will split into 4 shares. And as a result, the price of the shares goes down, but the number of shares in the market increase proportionately. So expect to see that once that split occurs, that you'll likely see some massive changes in Ortex data. So you'll see the shorts change massively. Basically, you'll probably see the short interest of free float drop or get weird. Just try to keep in mind that that split is going on, so it's probably going to be causing some confusion. Nothing really to be concerned about. But a split overall is a good thing. It is seen typically as a big bullish indicator that the stock is performing well, that the company wants to make it more accessible to retail participants. So it causes a drop in the price in exchange for increasing the float. All good things, all very good things. Let's go catch up with some of our other plays. IMPP closed at 41.21 cents. Revlon closed at, what was this? Revlon closed at $6.27. Nice close to the day. Overall, Revlon is showing some serious strength. Really, really enjoying that. So after today, it's up 6.5%. Aero Clean Technologies also had a really nice day, closing up nearly 10% from its open. It goes get this exact close. About 9% on the day. So good for Aero Clean Technologies. Nice to see them performing well. Beyond Meat closed up 6%. Very nice. Let's go catch up with ENJY. I think they dropped a bit. Oh, nope, they're up. They closed up. It's it's closing red because it gapped up in pre-market today, but it is a higher close from the day before. Let's go check. Its open from yesterday was at 18 cents. Closed the day today at excuse me. Oh man, I just got grabbed by the throat by some evil specter or something. So
Kind of goes
Revlon
with your
closed
territory.
right. Just occasionally the wrathful spirits from the fifth circle come up and grab me by the neck. Okay, so closed at God. For whatever reason, TradingViews Damn. I think I'm gonna start dying again. Excuse me. Ugh, God. All right, so up 140%, 135% thereabouts after yesterday's open. That's an increase of 24 cents per share. Very nice. So currently, ENJY trading a little bit down in after hours, down 5%. I would anticipate the stock to bounce around a little bit in after hours, but I'm also expecting some news release because this momentum here is quite interesting. If it drops down here, then I wouldn't be too concerned. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the stop loss on that because with this particular trade, there's not been any news to explain this move. So I'm expecting an announcement that some shareholder is buying up their debt. So as ENJ trickles down, if they bring it down in after hours, I'm going to continue to average down on the price. I'm not going to take a stop loss on that one. That's not something I normally advise, especially if you're playing with real money and you're trying to do a disciplined day trading strategy. Especially if you're playing with leverage or anything like that, don't ever take away your stop loss. Work with a very specific risk to reward ratio. And please take note, I'm playing with paper money, okay? This isn't real. This is just me experimenting with my own strategies and trying to test how accurate my predictions are. If I'm able, I'm able to do this as much as I want with no risk to myself. So please, please, please don't apply the same strategy like with real cash, okay? That's a mistake. Okay. Let's see. What other tickers do we have to catch up with? Oh, yeah. There's quite a few people that were asking for GMVD. Let's go take a look at that one. I don't know what the story is with GMV. Oh my God! Holy barcoding! What the? I haven't been watching GMVD, but what is going on? Dude, the barcoding here is nuts. What's happening? Wow.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Burgunk.
One holder.
Wow.
Did I just hear Numbskully?
You did.
Good afternoon, sir.
A wild Numbskully appears. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the stream.
Doing well. That GMBD, that's still with the one holder, the guy that was trying to push it, the CEO.
Yes. Hoop Money? Is that who you're talking about?
No, the CEO of GMed.
Oh, the CEO. Gotcha. Well, let's see. GMVD still currently up about. See, the entry price that I had marked out here was. I think that most of my. I think that most of the Discord's entry was sub 45 cents. Y'all keep me honest if that's not the case. But I know that my other paper entry was at 45 cents and took profit at 90 cents when it started coming down off of this high. The price has been in continuous decline ever since then. So let's see. Currently trading down 41%. Now, as I recall, I had set several liquidity zones down here. We just crossed the 51 cent line back on the 29th of June in pre-market trading, tested it again the morning of the 30th, and then have not returned there since. So there does seem to be some interesting strength, but I don't know if I can even trust it because this thing is barcoding so much. Let's go take a look at the. Sorry, brain fart. The FINRA data. Speak to me, FINRA. Tell me what kind of bullshit's going on here. GMBD. Let's go check this data out. Okay, so GMVD. Short interest is still making up a good portion of the total volume, at least 40% most days. I'd say about 40% on average, actually. The biggest trade of short exempt volume, at least in the last 15 trading days, was on June the 22nd. It hit a high of $1.15, had about 3% of its entire short volume sold as short exempt for 72.3 thousand short exempts. That made up about 40% of total volume. Today, we've had 25% of short volume over total volume. The short exempt ratio is 2.1, which is big, but the short exempts in total were not very much. 2,000 isn't a whole lot. I find that interesting, especially coming off of a day that was just zero short exempts altogether and no short volume at all. Very interesting. I'm wondering if there's some lending problems going on here. Let's go take a look at this. GMVD. I haven't looked at this in a while. I've just kind of been letting it sit, just so that everybody understands my style. Don't take my silence on the on any stock that I report as a lack of interest or that like the play is dead. That's not the case. I mainly focus on updating my Discord just because everybody is fighting for my attention all the time. So if you're coming here from Twitter, I don't update Twitter as much as I update my Discord. So if you want access to that, our membership is like $3 if you just want to be there, and we talk about this stuff all the time. So you guys can jump in, be a part of the conversation, and get access to some of our stock bots. So at least think about it.
You want to be there.
It's a fun place to be.
Really is.
Still not on the threshold list, which I find kind of surprising. Utilization is not quite maxed out. It's been teasing it. It's been teasing it for a few weeks now. But I expect us to top out on utilization very soon. There's the jump in the the on loan shares. What are we currently at with free float on loan? 7.46%. So there's quite a bit on loan already. The short exempts haven't gotten quite out of hand yet. Trading in GMVD is pretty thin right now. I'm thinking that a lot of this is algos. This one could use a push. We'll see what happens. What interests me right now is seeing it retesting that 80-cent level. If GMVD retests 80 cents, then I could see a case where the stock regains some retail interest. Right now, short interest is pretty high on it overall. It hit its high point starting on June 30th. So most of those shorts would have gotten into their positions here on the 28th. Remember that there's a 2-day lag period in this because of T2 settlement. So the short interest updates 2 days later. So we have to look back here to what the price was in order to find out when most of these shorts got in. And if you wanted to see the day that most of the shorts got in on June the 23rd, you would have to go back to June the 21st. So you could say that the price that they got in at was somewhere between 73 cents and $1.18, probably somewhere on the high side. Let's give shorts a benefit of just like to give ourselves our own worst case scenario. Most of the shorts getting in somewhere between $1.10 and $1.18. That's pretty high up there. So that way, if we're wrong, we're probably at least wrong in that the shorts are further down in price. And that would be a better case scenario. But we're going to try to stay conservative. So let's estimate that most of this shorting occurred at post $1. So let's see. That's an increase of the estimated short interest was basically zero, with a confidence interval of 125,000, we'll say. So let's estimate that the short interest in this stock increased by about 700,000 shares in just 1 week. And at that time, they were at about $1. The stock is currently trading at around 60 cents. So they've made roughly a 40% profit, thereabouts. That's quite significant. If shorts are interested in taking gains, this is a good place to do it because this stock is already trading so low. It's the farthest that it can go is to $1, or I'm sorry, to zero. So there's not a lot of gain to be had here unless the stock just goes bankrupt. And this is a company that was just listed on the NASDAQ. So probably not likely. At the moment, it does look like it is curling a little bit, though. So overall, looks bullish. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a few other indicators. Let's see. We got the MACD that's doing multiple crosses here on the short term. Let's go look at the hourly. Looks like the MACD is about to cross the signal very soon, actually, if we include the after hours trading. The last time the signal crossed on the low end was back down here. It continued retracing for a little while, but then it went on a run. So after it hit this low point, it went running. So I'm going to estimate GMVD to retest 60 cents. If it retests 60 cents and bounces, then that would be a sign of strength. Look for it to make another leg up, heading up towards 75 cents to 80 cents, somewhere in that range. Okay.
Hey, PD.
Hey, what's going on, Num? What you got?
Hey, can we go back and look at the GME announcement again?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're announcing this as a dividend, and then owners of record for the 18th.
Four-for-one split of Class A shares. Shareholders of record on July 18th will get a dividend of 3 additional shares for each held share. Stock dividend will be distributed after the close of trading on July the 21st. Trading will start on a stock split adjusted basis July 22nd. Okay, so we'll break this down really quickly. So if you are holding GME shares on July 18th, you need to be holding shares July 18th before the close of business. On that day, for every share of GME that you are holding, you will receive a split of stock 4-for-1. So one share, every single share you hold will become 4 shares, and it will reduce its overall share price by dividing its closing price by 4. Okay? And that distribution will occur on July the 21st. So you will only be entitled to split of stock as of the 18th. You must be holding all of those shares on July 18th. The split will occur after close of business on the 21st, and then you will receive your shares, and it will be shown in your portfolio by opening bell July 22nd. Does that cover everything, Numbskully?
Yes, sir. There was just a few questions, and I just wanted to make sure that it was covered properly for everyone.
Coolio, thank you for being on the lookout. Let's see. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them in live stream questions. I'm still checking out.
Do you think Weeble will mess up the the dividend in this case?
Yes.
Looks like I got a message from work. They're just bugging me about a little bug in some code. I can take care of it later.
Wow.
Listen, Mr. Brigank. I don't have time to be fixing bugs. I got people that are relying on me to give them stonk information. Scrap Queen, I see your question in the YouTube chat. So how do naked shorts factor into GME split as a dividend distribution? To be honest with you, naked shorts are a complete wild card in this scenario. I don't actually know what would happen, but I do know what happens with regular shorts, and I would at least assume that the same condition would apply to naked shorts. So when you short a stock, that stock gets, you borrow the stock from a holder, and that stock is sent to, or you sell it to, another trader in the market. When the stock split occurs, then that stock gets split for both the individual who you borrowed it from and for the individual that you sold it to, because they're both entitled to that split. So what occurs is the short must then, in order to cover their position, purchase 4 shares from the market in order to deliver it to the lender who they borrowed stock from. So in order to fully cover the position, that short needs to then go into the market, purchase 4 shares from the market at market price, and then deliver that, return that to the lender. In the case of a naked short, what you're basically doing is counterfeiting stock. So there is no borrower, so you are selling a share that then becomes 4 shares in the market. The thing is that there's never truly like a perfect equilibrium in that scenario. So the naked short, since they're not borrowing it from anybody, the only thing that dictates whether they have to return that share is when the broker decides that that share needs to be accounted for, and they can force that borrower to close their position, but they would still need to purchase 4 shares out of the market in order to make that delivery. So that is what I theorize would occur, is that the naked short would still have to cover the split stock. Hey, Timmy, thanks for the $5. Yeah, I can take a look at EVFM. Number 1 gamma squeeze stock. All right, we'll check it out. EVFM. That's EvoFem Biosciences. Is this the company that's doing, yeah, contraceptive gel? I remember seeing this one. Wow, what a move. Nice. Very strong. Yeah, it's doing this island pattern, which I find pretty interesting. Island patterns, if you're not familiar, is when there's a large gap down in a stock and then it just consolidates sideways for a few days. Island patterns, they typically only go for like a day or two. They're not usually long and drawn out like this. But the fact that the stock just dropped out and then consolidated sideways for, what was this, like 3 trading weeks? This is like over a month actually. And then just suddenly gaps up and returns back to its previous level. That's bullish. But it's also very difficult to predict. You can't really predict this. The only thing that you can do is you look for indicators of bullish momentum, like such as this. You see this low volume push to the upside. Normally that doesn't play out, but in this case, there was this big volume push at the end of the day on the 24th of June, and then it gapped up the day after that. This would have been on Monday, the 27th. So that's actually a pretty interesting move. Let me go pull. Verde, I don't take questions like that. You know how I'm doing. Verde asked me how I'm doing. Thank you for asking. I'm doing okay. Had a nice 4th of July weekend. Let's go ahead and pull up the live options on EVFM and also do an inspect short squeeze on that and see if we get a gamma ramp to show up on it. Okay, so first one, we have the call chain table from ScourgeBot. The call chain table shows that there's a very heavy amount of interest at the 2.5 strike level for 28% of the float. $1 strike has 12.3% of the float. So yeah, I'd say that that's quite a gamma ramp, especially the 2.5 extending out all the way to January of 2023 looks pretty loaded up. The short squeeze data, if we look at this chart, we can see that in total between now and the end of August, or I'm sorry, the middle of August for monthly expiration, 70.5% of the stock is currently on the options chain for 250 strike and above. So that definitely is a gamma squeeze candidate. Absolutely. What I need to see is if there is any changes in their float, because it is possible that there was a float increase on this and that is not being accurately tracked. So if I could get some members of my analyst team, any volunteers, if you guys wouldn't mind digging into the filings of this one, EVFM might be a good candidate. But I can see that according to our Scourge bot, the outstanding shares currently sits at 353.7. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing a zero. It's 35.37 million shares outstanding, and the free float is about 12.57 million. The short interest is interesting. It's 2.1 million shares sold short. Let's go take a look at EVFM on this chain. Interesting, very interesting. All right, so shorts are pretty heavy in this one. And then let me go a little bit further. Let's inspect the market maker, EVFM, and go find out who is the designated market maker. Citadel Securities. Of course it is. All right, so EVFM, just looking at the Ortex chain, I can see, or the Ortex chart, I can see there's this big bull channel on this thing where it's been trading down since about $7.50. Wow. Wow. It's not been doing well ever since December, but it does look like it's hit a bit of a bottom. Let's go take a look at some of the other data. Utilization, nowhere near maxed out. It's only 6%. The on-loan shares has been peaking here pretty significantly. Short interest, yeah, short interest is basically non-existent in this one, which is interesting. The gamma squeeze potential in this one is huge. 67% of the stock is going to the lit exchange. So we have a long opportunity here, ladies and gentlemen. EVFM is an excellent candidate for a squeeze.
I tagged you in the filing. It's in Pi.
Who was this?
Todd?
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up. Which channel did you drop that in, Todd? I'm sorry.
Pi.
Oh, PI text. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I will check those out a little bit later. So the recent filing shows, okay, here we go. Prospectus supplement ending August 5th, 2021. They have issued 22.6 million shares of common stock with pre-funded warrants. God, I can't even speak today. To purchase 12.8 million shares of stock, warrants to purchase 71 million shares of common stock. Yeah, this is a drastic increase of the float. Okay, so this is a supplement to the prospectus dated August 5th, and this one was dated, the accompanying prospectus will be made on or about May 24th. Date of this prospectus supplement is May 20th. Okay, so they increased their float dramatically. Gamma squeeze, not quite. Let's go see
YouTube chat is saying on the Ortex you were looking at EVF instead of EVFM.
You're right. I was. I just noticed that. That's my bad. Sorry, guys. Let me fix that, and we'll go take a look at it again. EVFM. There we go. I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead and sling your stones. Okay, that's more like it. 100% utilization. How long has it been there? Yep. On loan. Yep. Definitely a Citadel Securities market making stock. How original. Security lending. Oh my god. Holy smokes. Okay. All right. EVFM. Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I didn't even realize that the volume was 511 million.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay. Well, EVFM does certainly fit the bill. I would love. Oh, it did end up on the threshold list as of yesterday. What a surprise! So failures to deliver are pretty much off the chain. Security lending volume is ridiculous. On loan shares is 20 million versus 2.3 million from a week ago. The short interest is up to 13 million from 1.8 million a week ago. The amount of shares being borrowed has dropped by 1.9 million. Okay, so a lot of shares being returned here. Interesting. What is Ortex saying the float is? I need to see what the float history is. Somebody recall where that is here? If I recall correctly, short interest is 9.78 million. Short interest of the float is 26%. I have a feeling that Ortex is not reflecting the new short, they're not reflecting the new float.
Yeah, it's also incorrect on bar chart on Yahoo, Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah, it's not reflecting an accurate float. 37 million can't be right because there's 70 million shares that were added. I would say that this one it has potential, but at the moment, because of that prospectus, they're diluting right now. Like they're actively diluting stock. They've been in the process of it until that prospectus closes and they announce that they have finished selling their stock and the new float is, been decided. That is the only way that we can. That's the only way that we can definitively determine whether the stock has a new float that's accurate and what that float is. And that's the only way that we can calculate whether a gamma squeeze is possible. Because even with the high amount of calls that are currently there, that by itself isn't enough if it only measures up to be like 5% of the total stock available. I will keep an eye on this one. I know a lot of people are really excited about it. I think that it might be a trap. I saw people asking about EndP, that's Endo International. This is another one that's doing the same thing. This island pattern is interesting. This one I might be interested in. It's down to 52 cents and it dropped into an island pattern as of the 18th of May from $1. So it does have the potential to double the money.
This is a weird one. It's got a couple of things going. It's got multiple tailwinds in different directions. They're the plan B, which with the current ruling in the States, that gives this a huge bump. But they also are bombarded with lawsuits because of their from opioids. So they've had positive earning after positive earning after positive earning, but they've been hemorrhaging cash and going down the entire time because they're paying out this money for these lawsuits. So it's this tug of war match going between the two and figuring out which one's going to win.
That's interesting. This one I'm more interested in because the put call ratio is declining, which that means more calls than puts. That's bullish. So the lower the put call ratio is, the better for the stock. This does have my attention for a possible gamma squeeze. Let me inspect live options chain on ENDP. Let's go see what this says. I gotta clean up some of these. Okay, so put call ratio currently is 84.6% calls. So of all of the stocks chain right now, almost all of it is in calls. There's a heavy weight of calls on the $1 strike for all dates between July and January of next year. That's quite a bit. Let's go check out short squeeze ENDP. Okay. Not so much a gamma squeeze candidate. The ramp is only up to about 3% of stock up to the $10 strike. I would wait for the bankruptcy news to hit and see if, because there is a bankruptcy rumor that I just saw that was printed. Thank you, by the way, to Todd for pointing that out. The the amount of shares on loan, though, is interesting. The stock is getting absolutely hammered right now. So I'd be interested to see the utilization continue to rise. Cost to borrow, whoa. Yeah, 260% maximum is pretty significant. The average is still only 32%, but if this keeps getting more popular on social media, then this one might have potential. My only concern is with retail getting targeted by all these market makers, especially the bad actors like Susquehanna and Citadel. It's a dangerous market, and it's scary to go long in anything right now because overall the market is extremely bearish. This is a dangerous time to be investing in growth companies, especially one that's trading with bankruptcy news. Short squeeze in this situation, not likely. Gamma squeeze, also not very likely. I'd need to see this one develop a little bit more. So I will patiently and carefully keep my eye on this one. Let's go catch up with chat. Sorry, I keep using my I keep having to use my my Google Chrome where my YouTube chat is to go and search stuff up. EVFM rug pull risk. Yeah, I was I was getting some vibes that a rug pull is possible. It can go either way, I don't know. Don't let me talk you out of a trade. I just want people to be careful. Hey Timmy, thanks for the $10, dude. Can I take a look into EVFM's patent on Plexi? It's groundbreaking. There's news coming soon. I'll have my analysts take a look at it. We'll consolidate some due diligence on it and see if we can post something on the subreddit. If you guys don't know, Hell's Trading Floor has its own official subreddit at r/Hell's Trading Floor. You guys can check that out. If you want to post due diligence, we approve due diligence that is well thought out and lengthy. So please make a good effort. We do place emphasis on quality research. So please don't spam the chat constantly. I've been getting one particular user that's just been doing nothing but spamming like one-line posts of tickers, and that is going to get people banned if that continues. We got to focus on quality research. I'm not here to pump stocks and just like, yay, blah 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 to the moon. That's not going to happen. Jake from State Farm. I can take a look at IMPP. We discussed it a little bit earlier. I'll go pull that one up and see what the dealio is. But IMPP looks like it's hit a bottom. I actually just made a call out that a drop to 40 cents is likely. Looks like it's about to do it in after hours. But it's possible it could bounce off of 38 cents. If it touches this, expect a liquidity raid on that level, and for the price to just spike down through that level. If you see the price spike down with a long wicking red candle through the 38-cent level down to maybe 36, maybe 35 cents at the low side, and then it recovers rapidly, reclaiming support at 38 cents or higher, that is a sign of a liquidity hunt. The same thing occurred multiple times in the stock previously, such as this one. Let me actually go back to February the 14th, and I'll show you another liquidity hunt that occurred on this particular stock. So right about here. So this was a liquidity hunt. You can tell because it happened during market hours. It crossed a major level of support and it spiked down rapidly. On the 10-minute chart, this only took about 1 minute for it to hit, and then it recovered immediately and then reclaimed support with a big green engulfing candle. If you had traded on this candle, then you could have captured IMPP for let's see, if you had swung it to the end, I would have traded this for at least a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Sometimes I'll do a 10-to-1, but at the very top, you could have captured profit at 90 cents for a 71% profit. So if you had traded just on that liquidity hunt spike right here, then you could have profited pretty big. Even throughout the day after it consolidated, you could have traded like halfway through it and captured this move and still made a tidy profit of at least a 50% gain. Most of the time, day traders will only trade the liquidity hunt to a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio and try to capture profit. The way that you do that is by just taking a long position. You wait for the close of the candle that reclaims support. You set your stop loss below the wick of the red candle, and then you set your take profit at whatever your risk to reward ratio is. In this case, you couldn't have gotten a 3-to-1. You would have taken a 2-to-1 in the first day. But if you had played it all the way to the very end, you would have easily hit a 10-to-1 risk to reward ratio here by afternoon on June 8th. So this is how much you could have set your take profit versus your stop loss on. I love liquidity hunts. If you're interested in trading liquidity hunts, HTF liquidity indicator on the on TradingView is excellent for that. Okay, Mullen and Biora. Let's go look at Biora first. I'm particularly excited about Biora since it's been getting a lot of attention. I see that it is still holding up some strength.
Oh man, that bankruptcy alert for Voyager again.
Oh wow, yeah, I heard about the Voyager bankruptcy notice. I'm really sorry to people that got rug pulled out of Voyager. There's several folks here in the Discord I know that got like some people just couldn't get their stuff out, which was so shitty. My heart seriously does go out to those that got rug pulled by Voyager. All right, so Biora, it's still holding up support very nicely here and setting up some higher lows. So if we track this move here, I can see that Biora is still setting up higher lows after having traded down to its lowest point at around 59 cents, as I recall, 56 cents. Interestingly enough, Biora is actually setting up for an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's an inverse head and shoulders pattern here with the shoulder here, the head here, and another shoulder forming here. It's a little bit of a wonky head and shoulders pattern. You might also consider this a triple bottom. since the lows are so close together. But if this low closes above 60 cents and then bounces up to 65 cents, then that would be confirmation. The neckline on this is actually at around 79, 78 cents on the dollar for Biora. I would expect that if we can get a break above 75, then that would signal the full reversal. Triple bottoms and inverse head and shoulders are very strong reversal patterns. And I would be very much looking forward to seeing Biora recapture all of its given up gains from its fall from grace back in November of last year. You can clearly see the head and shoulders forming here. What we need to see is for this bounce to be held. The green candle is already good enough, so we just need to see the stock holding, and even moving up a little bit would be great in the next couple of days. Some news that is coming up, I recall that there's a conference going on with Biora here pretty soon, so that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. At the moment, other patterns of significance, Biora is trading this descending triangle, which is a very bullish pattern. It's already broken out to the upside, and then it's about ready to bounce off the top of the outside of the triangle. What we want to happen is for that bounce to follow through, same as with the inverse head and shoulders pattern. So you got multiple bullish patterns lining up for us here. Upside on this trade would be up to at least $1, but I'm a long holder of Biora, so I'm expecting to hold this for basically forever. I still have all my stock. For everybody who's curious, I still have it all. I got all my Biora, and I actually sold some puts for $1.50 strike several months ago. They're currently in the money, obviously. But if Biora makes a run for it, then I may not have to deliver those. I don't know. But those are expiring in July on the 15th. So I do I expect to have to be assigned on those. But that's fine for me. I sold those for I sold those when Biora was trading at 90 cents. So even if I get assigned, if Biora goes up above 90 cents, then I've made my profit, and I bought it at a price that I was okay with purchasing the shares at. So I'll have more Biora by the end of the month. Let's go ahead and catch up with Mullen next. Whoops. Mullen is another interesting one. I know this has been barcoding. Like, you don't even have to ask me.
I was going to say, where's my scanner?
Look at this. Look at this bullshit. Oh my god. Holy barcode.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Dude.
It's been barcoding for a week or two. If you go down onto the 1 minute, you can see about how far back they've tried to hide it. It's crazy.
If Mullen doesn't squeeze, if Mullen does not squeeze, I expect fires on Wall Street. There's so many people in on this stock that will be so pissed if this thing doesn't move. I know people are still buying this stock. People were buying this at $4. I know people are buying it at $1. I know retail is buying this right now. There's no way it isn't. This barcoding is total bullshit. There's no way. Let's go look at the dark pool volume on this. Let's go check out the market making on Mullen. And let's go see, yep. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, so Mullen, interestingly enough, let's go pull this up. Mullen is actually moving about 46% of its volume to the lit exchanges, which is highly encouraging. That much lit exchange volume is enough to enable price discovery. The other non-ATS exchanges make up about 52%, so still majority of it is going to the non-lit exchanges. Think MEMX, IEX, what else? Obviously, dark pools and Citadel Connect and other internalizers. Those exchanges are still seeing the majority of Mullen's volume, but the fact that there's 46% of it going to the lit exchanges, that's super encouraging. That's actually really good to see. Let me go check out the weekly and see how much of the volume has been going to, let's see, okay, non-ATS weekly trades. Mr. Burgonk, are you in here?
Yep.
Which of these shows the lit exchange weekly trades and weekly shares traded? Do we have that on this?
The lit volume?
Yeah, the lit volume.
No, this is just the table showing the FINRA report as is.
Okay. Are we able to reconcile the lit exchange volume from this and add it to this table just so that we have all of it in one place?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If we could get that change implemented at some point, that would be fantastic. But given that the weekly volume breakdown from Mullen was showing that 46% of the volume was going to the lit exchanges, I would estimate that just in the last week of May, early week of June, that we probably saw a good deal of volume, maybe like 200, maybe 200 or 300 million shares traded on the lit exchanges. At least that's what I would hope for. If we could get even more detail on this, which we'll, of course, keep implementing new adjustments to this and making it available to the professionals on the trading floor. If you want to get access to this data and so much more, ScourgeBot is being updated all the time. It is only usable by the professionals on the Hell's Trading Floor Discord, but you are free to ask the other professionals and analysts if you'd like to have them run this. You can just ask somebody, and usually after a short wait, you can find someone willing to print one of these out for you.
And by all the time, you can now include the first successful run of the continuous deployment.
Oh, excellent. Yes, we finally have redundancy in ScourgeBot.
Tentatively.
I can't wait for that. That'll be excellent.
It worked. It worked for the first time at least.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dave. Yeah, we've been slowly improving our services little by little, and it really has shown. Okay, last ticker that I see being requested is VRM. I know about Vroom Inc. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. I know it's like a Carvana type stock, or at least very similar to it. They're doing what is it? Specialty recovery trading on vehicles. Isn't that right? Let me go look at their description. E-commerce platform for buying and selling of used vehicles. Yeah, so they trade auctioned and used cars based out of Texas. So I like the business model. I'm actually pretty bullish on the used and auction car markets. Repo car market, I'm sad to say, is going to do very well as this recession plays out. And yes, I said the R word. Yes, I did. But Vroom is currently hemorrhaging money kind of right now, which I don't like. But it is kind of bouncing off of a bottom. I will be interested in looking at it for a long play. I am not ready to jump in on it right now. I do know that it has a lot of short interest, but I'm just being honest with you. I know that I'm not interested in taking a position right this minute, but I will go ahead and pull up the short interest data from Ortex, and we can take a look. Okay, yo mama, yo mama. All right, I will check out Sins. I will check that one out. I was one of the originals that did all that due diligence on Sins a long time ago. I have not forgotten my Sins. Still hold every share that I've ever bought. Okay, 100% utilized. Cost to borrow looks pretty low right now, but I expect that to change. It's on the threshold list also. Okay, well, it's becoming more interesting to me. It wasn't on the threshold list when I looked at VRM. Security lending. Ooh, okay. Okay, all right. I'm a little interested. All right, I'm a little interested. Let me look at VRM. Let me look. ScourgeBot's collecting my FINRA data for me here. Okay. All right. Okay, I concede. I'm interested. Retrace to $1.25, upon which it promptly had a massive print of short exempts for 3.3 million. What's the let me go check the float on this one. Overview of VRM shows there is a total of 138 million shares outstanding, with 120.5 million shares in the free float. That's 20% of its free float traded short exempt in a single day. Excuse me? No. I've done the math wrong. There's no way. I've done the math wrong. Hold on.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
one
I
of
did
those
the math
stocks
wrong.
too that has never been able to make it quite over 190, that $2 mark. It just gets smacked every time it comes close.
Okay, it was 0.3% of the float was traded short exempt in a single day on the 30th of June, which that still interests me. Like, the short exempts are huge. 9.9% of the stock traded that day was sold short exempt against the shorts. Total volume of the total volume, 4.67% was traded short exempt. And we're still not at T+6 yet. These shares will be failing to deliver tomorrow morning. So all of those will be failed to deliver tomorrow morning. I have a feeling that this latest move is likely because of the FTDs. So right now, the move up to 44, excuse me, $1.44. That tells me that market makers covered some stock in the last couple of days. They're probably going to close out a whole bunch of their short exempts so that they don't get another failure to deliver, flagging them. Let me go take another look at the chart. Okay. Yes. All right. I would say wait. I'm going to look at VRM to retrace to $1.17. If it starts touching $1.25 again, then I'm going to start paying close attention to it. If I see it returning down to this level, what I'm going to look for is a big spike down, like a big spike like so, down from 120 down to, some range between $1.20 and $1.10. If I see that big spike down and then a retracement or a recapturing of support within 10 candles, then I'm going to probably go long on this. That would be a liquidity hunt. I see this big liquidity pool here at $1.18. There's been multiple bounces off of it, and it's formed a structure here with a big cup and handle, but I expect the cup to break down. And what that would do is create a triple bottom or an inverse head and shoulders. But right now, this thing is doing a head and shoulders pattern as we speak. So you see we got shoulder, head, shoulder, and I'm expecting it to break down. So I'm going to be patient on this one. If I see Vroom gathering steam, I'm going to be posting some limit buys in these areas. That's what I would be doing if I was to trade this. Right now, I think it'll probably drop again. We'll probably end up doing the same thing that stocks like Mullen did, where it retraces in value and then spikes into these areas, and then the market maker collects a bunch of a bunch of weak longs, and then capture shorts on the way back up. But I do see some bullish upside here. Let's see. We got this channel forming. It is nice. I do like it. If I see it going in either direction, though, this will catch my attention. All right, so I'll go put some alerts on this one, and this will notify the Discord as well. All right, so we've got room marked out. That one looks pretty good. Dennis Pham, hey, I already covered BBIG pretty extensively earlier on in the video, or stream, I should say. The if you want to go ahead and look back, I've already discussed it pretty heavily. I don't want to, go and repeat myself for everyone who was hanging out already. Just go, check out about an hour back into the video. Already discussed GME 4-for-1 stock split. We've already talked about that. We discussed the free float being like 3% failed to deliver for GMVD. Yep. I'm sorry, guys. You're mostly late to the party. Mostly late to the party. Okay, we're coming up on 5:15 Eastern time, so we're probably going to go ahead and close out the stream very soon here. All right, I'll take a look at Apron. I know that there's a lot of hype around Apron. I felt like I was late to that, and I'm not interested in chasing right now. It's a great move. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a great move, but I felt very late to this one, and I'm not keen to chase it. But it is a nice steady move. I know that this was a CAD call out as well. Nice big broadening wedge on this one. Big move to the upside. Overall, it's moving on a big inverse head and shoulders that I can see here. It already broke the neckline some time ago. If you're in this one, congratulations. Like, it looks super bullish. This big inverse head and shoulders, it already moved and broke past the neckline, which was here. So obviously doing super well. I love the play. It looks really good. I was initially very bearish on the company. I'm pretty much bearish on most of those those delivery services, especially the ones that rely on heavy foot traffic and low pay for workers. Blue Apron is pretty much no different from like Uber or Instacart or any DoorDash. It's all pretty much the same to me, and I see those like microservices as doing very poorly, as evidenced by their financial statements showing that they're like in the red by massive margins. Profit margin is still like negative 10% at least every single quarter. So the outlook for it for me isn't really very bullish, but clearly it's paying off. So like I guess you guys know something that I don't. And congratulations if you're in on this play. Ride it out, ride the trend, and let it rip. Weber. Yes, I almost forgot about Weber. Weber Grills.
Like the rest of the public.
Weber had some really weird
TD
things
is
happening with it today.
Yeah,
I
see
sold out of my calls earlier in the day, and I was only able to get about $1 something for the call contracts that were in the money. And then when I looked at it later, after it had gone from like above 750 down to hit repeating the hit that channel, that trend that it was in, and bounce off of it. When it was at like 720, those call contracts were now selling for 5.
that's interesting.
And if you looked at both the July and the August, the July and August, both the lowest 2 tiers on there were both selling for extravagantly inflated prices.
Yeah, I do find that interesting. What I also find interesting is that this support that it was bouncing off of earlier on back in mid-June, right when we were getting all excited about it, it bounced off of that level and now it's entered into a channel that's treating it as resistance now. I find that pretty interesting. Pretty much matches up here as well. Notice the channel. It's just 2 channels stacked on top of each other. I am very curious. I'm very curious where this one's going. Why do I have a long calculator that's this huge? I don't remember making that. Anyway, so Weber posted, let's see, what was their quarterly? They posted a negative quarterly earnings for the second quarter. Aren't they about to announce their third quarter earnings?
September, I believe.
September, okay.
It's either late August or early September.
Okay.
But I did some research into them, and it appears that a big part of the reason that they were having issues prior was a large part supply chain and material costs having gone kind of sideways. And it seems as though since then they've restructured and done things to mitigate that and are looking at upside. At least that's what they're reporting.
That's very good to hear. That's excellent.
I'm just shocked that this stock was literally IPO'd less than a year ago. I mean,
yeah,
it's Weber.
Yeah, Weber grills. Like I owned a Weber grill. I loved it. I grilled every week in the summer during the pandemic. It was awesome. I love Weber. I see some serious upside for the company. And with it being a squeeze stock, it's a good one for me. Like it works for me. I can go ahead and pull my Cortex data up.
You and I are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, Weber definitely seems like one that I could see myself jumping into even deeper right now. The short interest of free float is pretty much peaked out. It hasn't added to it at all, which is interesting. What is the on loan doing?
Right here, like
on loan is even lower. Interesting. So the on loan, that doesn't make any sense. The on loan is 5.6 million, but the short interest is 10. That doesn't make sense. Those shares should be on loan too. Security lending volume has dropped off the map, which I find very interesting. What were the shorts getting in at? They were getting in at $11. We challenged that on the 23rd and got rejected. I can't help it. I'm bullish as hell. I love Weber grills. What can I say? The put call ratio is very bearish though. It's turning bullish, but it's very bearish right now. The put call ratio is like at 4.21 at the peak back in May 30th. When it wasn't peaking, it was still at like, what is this? Put call ratio was at 1.89. That means for almost every call there was 2 puts. almost. The cost to borrow is getting pretty expensive. The short interest is slowly, very, very slightly declining, at least today. But it looks to be hitting a plateau right now. So, and with the cost to borrow rising, I'm thinking that shorts are going to start feeling some pressure. Look at how many of them have been in their positions. This was the day. This was the day that they all entered big time. Shorts restructured their positions big time on March the 14th. That late March date was significant for this one. I'm not sure what to make of it, but I know that I'm bullish. I'm expecting this one to end up on the threshold list if the failures to deliver continue. The short exempts were pretty high on this one also. For me, Weber Grill is a good value play. I see nothing wrong with the company. They're a classic American company. They have a good product, and it's grilling season, guys. It's time to get out and make burgers. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go and do that this week. Hey guys, thanks for all the kind words in the chat. I'm sorry I haven't been paying too close attention to the live stream chat. If you need to get something to me, you can send it in live stream questions. But I appreciate all the kindness. Game on. I see your question since I just happen to be scrolling through the live stream chat. Is it possible that brokers such as Webull use this time to settle shares or the settlement time to lend out shares? Share lending mainly comes from the prime brokers. Webull is a different kind of broker. Webull is mainly operating through a trading. They're just a trading platform. The real culprit of share lending that gives them the most profit is whoever their prime broker is. So the prime broker is what you would be looking at. Apex Clearing is also a candidate for that, but regardless of who's doing the lending, I don't think that like the settlement time has much to do with that. It's more about what the broker is willing to do in order to find shares to lend. Time is less of a factor than having availability from either retail participants or institutions that are holding on to shares that are willing to lend. Hey, Chandegger, I see GOVX. I will take a look at that one. Let me actually just go ahead and get that one up on Ortex. Let's go see what it is doing. Just remember not to place too much emphasis on short exempts by itself. Short exempts are great for predicting wild, volatile movement, but the important thing is to use this as a signal to attract your attention to the stock and take note of what's going on elsewhere. The important thing to look at in those cases is what the gamma ramp looks like. That is call volume and open interest, the amount of sentiment and retail participation in the stock, volume, any bullish catalysts, things of that nature. Those are all good things to be on the lookout for in order to spot a quality squeeze. Short exempts are just going to tell you market maker participation and potential fraud. Okay, I see the utilization was quite high on Ortex for a while, but it looks like it's dropped off. This ship may have sailed. Short exempts. The short exempts are pretty high right now. That's interesting. Let's go take a look at it on TradingView and see what we find. Hey, Dr. Deface, is that new? Is that just edit your comment if you would, please? Is that new data from today? GeoVax Labs. GeoVax Labs. Okay. All right, I do see it. Big falling wedge. Big falling wedge. So this is a bullish pattern. I definitely expect them to hit this 50-cent level, though. I absolutely expect that, especially if there's market maker involvement. I guarantee you there's going to be a move down here to that 50-cent level. Well, I guess I shouldn't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything. But I'm suspicious. I'm highly suspicious of a move down to 50 cents. Yeah, I'll be watching this one closely. So the falling wedge here does give me this does make me interested, but I would say give it some time. Make sure that there's a clean break of this level. You would need to see it trading above 85 cents within the next week for you to get confirmation that this is going to reverse. Until it moves in your favor, don't trade it. If anything, I would stay away from this. Just set alerts, set your price levels, look at areas to buy, wait for it to cross something, wait for it to trigger something. Right now, you have the STC indicator and the MACD both going negative and dropping and sloping downward. The histogram is pretty much level. So they have control of this right now. The momentum is in control of the bears, even with all of the other factors going for it from the technical standpoint. Doesn't really matter as long as the market maker has control of the price. What you want to wait for is for signals to approach and for it to cross some of these levels. Wait to see. I would start watching it after it drops below 70 cents and keep a close eye on it. I expect this thing to keep declining for at least the next couple of weeks after options expiration is when I would start paying attention to it. So after July the 18th, isn't that it? I'm sorry, July 15th. So after July 15th is when I expect something to happen. I'm going to go ahead and set an alert here for me to take a look at this. Okay, we'll just do that one time. It's not likely to hit it to the downside, but we always give ourselves our levels anyway. And then I'm going to go ahead and set a marker on 65 cents. There we go. Okay, so we got plenty of alerts on this one. It's all alerted out. We'll know when something happens to this. It's got my attention though. All right, I think that I'm probably going to have to go after I check out BBIG for the last time. This is going to be it. No more tickers. Sorry, guys. I got to get back to work. But I really appreciate you stopping by for the stream.
This is really bizarre on BBIG. For some reason, on E-Trade, the extended hours keeps, no matter how many times I refresh it. Right now it says up 9.09%.
Excuse me?
And every time I go to it, it switches back to like 0 or nothing. But I'll just freaking screenshot it.
I don't know what's going on with BBIG. This is so sus. It's so fucking sus. I cannot give people any kind of financial advice in this situation, but BBIG's behavior is so fucking strange. If I was able to just throw $1 million at this stock, I would. The behavior is so bizarre, and whenever something bizarre happens to these types of stocks, they get volatile quickly. This barcoding is strange, and I know that Susquehanna is involved somehow. They are the primary market maker of this stock. They have a huge position in ByteDance, which owns TikTok, the number one competitor for BBIG's low motif platform. And that conflict of interest alone is enough to at least convince me that they have sufficient means and motive to try to kill this stock as much as they can in order to protect their interests. However, with a new investigation being launched against a new investigation being launched against TikTok because of them sending private data to the Chinese government, and or at least collecting the data that we know of. We don't have confirmation. An investigation is necessary to determine if TikTok is basically being used as a means of espionage on average American consumers in order to collect their data. If that's what's really going on, then that app is actually a major threat to national security, and I expect there to be massive action taken against the company by the United States government. If that were to happen, I guarantee you that there would be no way that that app continues to sit here in the marketplace. It's not only going to get pulled from the app stores, I expect litigation to go up against ByteDance for that. So if that plays out, BBIG is the only natural competitor, and it's already the most popular app in India right now, or one of them. Yeah, the behavior of BBIG's stock is pretty much unexplainable. I can't figure out any reason for it to be trading this low right now. Even though I think that the executives are basically sleeping at the wheel and or just pissing off all their investors all the time just by sheer incompetence, I don't think that this is all them. It's not all BBIG's staff. There's more going on here. Anyway, this falling wedge pattern on BBIG is extremely bullish in my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen in the near term, but we're nearing the tip of this falling wedge right here. So I really, really don't think it's going to make it very far below $1. If it does, I'll be shocked. Let me go pull up the short exempt data here for you guys, and this will be the last thing that we cover, okay? Yeah, short exempt ratio is exceeding, it's been over 3% every single day since June the 23rd. It's been over 10% multiple days. The high point was 17.19% short exempt ratio. That, and when you look at the short exempts versus total volume, the total volume that was traded on June 27th, 10%. That's 1 out of every 10 shares traded in BBIG on the 27th of June was short exempt. That's ridiculous. And the fact that the stock barely moved, it barely moved. It opened up at $2.14 and it closed at $2.05. Down only 9 cents on the day, but huge, huge short exempt volume. if I recall, I'm trying to remember what their float's currently sitting at. The float's 217 million shares, or just under that.
If they get their vote at the end of July, they're going to bump it to 750 million available.
Well, they need to be denied. They need to be denied that vote, or at least there needs to be a lockout period where they can't dump it all on retail at the same time. If they do that, they need to be only allowed to offer between 1 and 10 million shares at a time. BBIG's been doing this too much. Their executive team is just dumping shares on retail all the time. Unacceptable. They're diluting on their shareholders and breaching their fiduciary duty. They're not acting in the interests of their shareholders right now. All right. Well, the analysis is clear. Market makers are screwing with this thing. It's been barcoding like nuts, like nobody's business. Let's go look at the Ortex data again. Short interest is 40.9 million. Let's just round up to that nice healthy number of 41. 41 million shares sold short. The free float on loan is 34% of the stock. That's insane. The on loan is just going up as well. It's only going up. 60 million shares. Oh, God. And they want to triple their float. That's nuts. Man, that executives team is just so damn stupid. They don't even know what's going on. Like, you look at this, look at the amount of short interest up against them, and they want to dilute on their shareholders. Bears will jump on that like flies on shit. God. All right. Well, listen. If retail investors want to keep putting pressure on this stock in the face of market makers just continuously trying to push it down, this is the best time. Like, I'm not telling people what to do. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. Please don't just listen to me. Please make your own fucking decisions. But oh my God, the market makers are the only ones doing this. They don't have the power to do it forever. And there's going to be some whistleblowing to the SEC and FINRA. If they don't look at it, like, I expect somebody to just, like, there's going to be a crowd in front of the SEC offices pounding on the door just with pictures of this chart in front of them, screaming for Gary Gensler to get his ass out of his desk chair and fucking do something for once. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any idea. But all of the signs are pointing towards over-shorting and over-leveraging. Retail is still buying this right now, and the price has only been in decline the entire time. It can't go down much farther. At least not reasonably. I'm curious what the StockTwit sentiment is, just because I know there's a huge following. BBIG's got, 70,000 followers on StockTwits by itself. Well, whatever happens here, I wish everybody the absolute best of luck. But if you have those July options, I wish you all the best of luck. If BBIG pops up to $2 by July, I'll be amazed. But it looks like they're very determined to hold it underwater. The only thing that I know that puts actual pressure on the share price is to buy shares. You have to buy shares. It's the only thing that works. Buying options doesn't add any pressure to the price. Okay. Oh, that's pretty much going to have to be it for me. I've been streaming for 3 hours now. I hope you guys got some value out of this. If you did, please leave a like. Let us know what we can do to make it better. Leave us some comments. And it all helps. And if you want more of this stuff, please subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a member of the Hell's Trading Floor Discord community. We've got a really great community. We mainly focus on education for trading, and we've got a huge amount of very experienced investors and day traders that are more than happy to answer any questions that you have. If you're new to trading, if you need some guidance of any kind, we're more than happy to work with you and teach you anything that you want to know. Just all you have to do is just jump in and ask. If you're curious about jumping into the Discord, you can sign up through our Patreon page at patreon.com/hell. Patreon.com/the Devil's Broker. And that will take you to our Discord, which is at discord.gg/Hell's Trading Floor. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Y'all have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow at the bell.
Go on, brother.